How is the new Zelda Breath of the Wild changing Nintendo? Well, it's been quite a busy month for Zelda fans. Making this video took a bit longer to make than I originally thought, but when analyzing and researching more information about the new Zelda, an interesting trend came up in context to Nintendo's motives. Of course, all sights are on Breath of the Wild and the Nintendo Switch and all the news buzz that is surrounding them. And when making this video, I originally just wanted to recap news, but since so many others do, I wanted to take a step back to see what Breath of the Wild as a game means at a macro level. That is not to say I'm not going to go over news. Now, there is a lot to cover, but I also want to really analyze the information presented to us to see where is Nintendo going with not only Breath of the Wild, but the company's direction as well. So, where is Nintendo heading with this new Zelda? Well, let's find out. During E3 2016, which was definitely Zelda-dominated, an interview came out with the man himself, Shigeru Miyamoto. When asked about the future of the Mario series and how it can grow and develop like Zelda, this is what he had to say. It's kinda difficult with Mario because some of the more important conventions of Mario are based on the approachability and accessibility of those games. Additionally, Miyamoto also noted that having new people join Nintendo gave the team a fresh look at the conventions of Mario. This game, of course, is Mario Odyssey, but notice the parallels with Breath of the Wild. In an interview with Eiji Aonuma by influential publication Time, he revealed that a younger team of developers came into the fray to usher in new ideas for the new Zelda, and this pattern holds true for the Nintendo Switch. During another interview with Miyamoto, he revealed that younger people are taking the lead on the Switch's development. Heck, even pseudo-new people showed up at the Switch presentation like Shinya Takahashi. I say pseudo because they actually have been at Nintendo for quite some time. So now that we have gone over this trend, what first prompted this? Well, of course, a clear answer would be that Miyamoto and company are not going to live forever and would like to pass on the torch for others. But what first brought about this transition? Well, let's take a look at the Zelda franchise, specifically the development of Ocarina of Time. Some of the developers who worked on this project have progressively held larger and larger roles within the Zelda franchise as the years go by. Two prominent individuals who meet this criteria, Shinya Takahashi and Yoshiaki Koizumi. Sound familiar? Both of these guys have appeared on a Switch presentation, and if you look at these guys' track record, it is rather impressive. Takahashi alone already has an extensive portfolio, and Koizumi has been very intimately involved in the development of both Mario and Zelda. Call it a hunch, but I do think these guys will take on bigger roles in the near future. But what about the other guys found in the Switch presentation? Well, before that, let's talk about the development cycle of Twilight Princess. Believe it or not, but the development cycle of both this game and Breath of the Wild is extremely similar to bringing in new people who never worked on a Zelda game onto the development team and delaying release dates to accommodate an upcoming console. And during the Switch presentation, both Kosuke Yabuki and Shinya Takahashi appeared, and both had contributed to Twilight Princess's development. And that's not even mentioning both Koichi Kawamoto and Hisashi Nogami, who both have extensive backgrounds at Nintendo. And we still didn't mention Hiro Masashi Kata and his portfolio. So what does this all mean? Well, it is looking like Nintendo is bringing in new blood to steer the ship. Now, talking about Breath of the Wild's development cycle, it began starting phases around 2011. Right when Skyward Sword was ending development. Since then, it has been one heck of a roller coaster of a development cycle, but the final product looks phenomenal. Coincidentally enough, it was around this time period, between 2011 to present day, where we saw these same individuals take on more roles within Nintendo. For example, during 2011 when Link Between Worlds was beginning development, a relatively new face actually directed the game, Hiro Masashi Kata. In both the same year and in 2014, Kosuke Yabuki, directed both Mario Kart 7 and 8. In later 2014, Hisashi Nogami was a producer over Splatoon, a game largely overseen by younger developers. In 2015, Shinya Takahashi was a general producer for Bayonetta 2. And back to Hiromasa Shikata again, he directed another Zelda game, Triforce Heroes, in 2015. Could it be that Breath of the Wild is in some way sparking this change? I suppose a more accurate statement would be that the Zelda series as a whole, and the people who worked on it, gave them a foothold to pursue higher ambitions over Nintendo, which eventually led to them holding such esteemed positions. Well, good for them. Now, what does this mean for the future of Nintendo now that new blood is filling in? Not quite sure about that. But surely Nintendo's latest moves when introducing the public to the Switch can be somewhat indicative of future moves on their part. But what about Breath of the Wild as a singular game? How will it change Nintendo? Well, I think it will change Nintendo literally, as in the sense that assets found within Breath of the Wild will be reused not only in just Zelda games but other Nintendo projects. I think I mentioned this before in past videos, that Nintendo has a history of reusing assets, whether it be Majora's Mask taken from Ocarina, Twilight Princess using the same engine as Wind Waker, or Ocarina and Mario 64 using the same engine. The list just goes on from there, and since Breath of the Wild is using a fairly intricate physics engine, the likes of which that delayed the game, I foresee Nintendo reusing that asset in various different projects down the line. Who knows, maybe years after Breath of the Wild's release, Nintendo will still reuse assets developed for that game. And that is not even mentioning the developer impact this project must have had on Nintendo. As stated by recent news, Breath of the Wild is said to contain 120 shrine mini-dungeons, 900 Korok Seed puzzles, and 76 side quests. Indeed a considerable number. And that is not even going over the challenges, secrets, and Easter eggs for the game. Also, take a look at this map comparison of Breath of the Wild to past Zelda games and Skyrim. This new Zelda is definitely an ambitious title, and it is likely not the last we are going to see of this new Zelda, whether it be in reusing of its assets, or maybe the development of another Zelda game that carries on its image. Kind of how Majora's Mask took after Ocarina, or how Triforce Heroes took after A Link Between Worlds. Plus, IG Numa also confirmed an alternate ending for the game, which is really sitting well with the whole theme of non-linearity the game is keeping to. And since the game is having different endings, is this going to mess up the Zelda timeline even further? Who knows? And all of that is tied up neatly with a story being said that will make you cry. Indeed, it is of little wonder that so much hype is surrounding this game. But what do you guys think? Striker Hagane gave a really accurate response and context to this video. He stated that Breath of the Wild is a symbol of Nintendo's change, from the dev team including younger members to not using Kondo again, while Nintendo Freak XP said that Breath of the Wild will set a new standard for games, and it can only go up from there. And finally, Jay Kepler said that Breath of the Wild is their first step to a new genre. If it's successful, they're going to emphasize more innovating their established franchises. So will Breath of the Wild be a harbinger of change? Would love to hear your thoughts. But on a final note, Tantalus, the developer of the Twilight Princess HD remake, has confirmed to be making multiple projects for the Switch. Now, we already know one of them is Sonic Mania. However, some speculate whether or not they are developing something Zelda related. While there really isn't much evidence to go on, it is definitely a possibility. Is Skyward Sword HD in the works? Who knows, it's really up in the air at that point. What do you guys think? Well, that is all I have for you guys today. Sorry for the delay of this video, I was working on the Zelda theory along with the new video format and such. And speaking about the Zelda theory, the script came out to be 13 pages, which is the main reason it got pushed back. It is a theory that mostly revolves around Breath of the Wild and what timeline placement the game will take place in. The theory will drop this Friday, plus I do have a few surprises to show off when that comes around. With that being said, wish me luck on editing this behemoth of a video. It's probably going to be the longest Zelda theory I ever made. And also, I appreciate all the people who also replied on Twitter but didn't make it to the video. I deeply appreciate it, guys. Well then, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and take care. And this is the video of the day.